Hey everybody, welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast.
Where
we have fun.
Talking about
Parenting.
I'm Anya.
Say Ari.
Ari.
This is Ari, and I'm Mommy Shan. Let's start the show.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan. This episode we're talking about what kind of mom are you? In my head, I had an idea of what kind of mom I wanted to be. My mother was the mother of all mothers, meaning she did everything fun. She could cook, she could make things, she would go with us on adventures, she would travel with us, she would go with us to fun places, she would make sure we always had what we needed, and I'm not saying she was perfect, but there was always spaces for her to be better. I just think she decided not to because it involved doing work on herself that she wasn't ready to do, which is why I grew up in a home with her with my other siblings where there was no disciplinary actions taken, and it was more so everybody's for themselves, and there's an adult here to sign over 18 documents. That's about it. So I just knew that I wasn't going to raise my children like that. So I have 2 kids, and I don't know. Today we're putting more lights on moms. I'm not saying dads are not important. You guys are important. But I'm shedding more light on moms because I don't know what kind of dad I wanted to be because I'm not a dad. I know what kind of mom I wanted to be. And I wanted to be all the great things about my mom and all the things about my mom that weren't so great. I wanted to be good at them. So everyone who knew me before I had kids now understand that it's still Shan, but with 2 girls added. So it's still the goofy, it's still the artistic, it's still the organized, it's still the, I need to be before time to be on time. I still keep things fun. I apologize to my kids. I am very blunt and honest with my kids. Some of my friends be like, you tell them too much information. No, I think today we live in a society where if I don't explain something to my child, she will go ask someone else. They'll probably give her the wrong information, or she will Google it. And I don't want her to see her answers on YouTube. I want to answer her. So I give her a lot of honest, straightforward information. I'm very hands-on with my kids. I'm always doing things with them, taking them places, showing them things, taking them to the museum, the art galleries, taking them around the city, to the zoo, traveling with them, driving with them, explaining to them what's the meaning of certain words, getting them on the spot. Hey, Anya, what does freedom mean? Just to keep her mind going. And I think that's how kids learn. If you don't expose them to more, they're not going to learn more. So that's why I do it. I'm still priority-based, spontaneous. So basically, we can have all the fun in the world today, but I need to get this done, this done, this done, this done, because it's more important than us having this fun at the end of the day that we will have if I can get 1, 2, and 3 done. That's the best way I can explain it. I am priority-based, spontaneous. I'm still a homebody. Don't get it twisted. I do like to expose my kids to stuff, but some weekends I need to just stay in the house. Some weekends I don't want to go over people's houses. Some weekends I don't want to see family. Some weekends I don't want anyone to come over. I just want to chill in my house like a crab with my crab babies. I'm big on talking out feelings because I'm not going to say I grew up in a house where I couldn't express my feelings. I could. But when I did express my feelings growing up, it was more so through putting my hands on my brothers or throwing things or breaking things. When I did talk to my mom, if it was something that she did not want to deal with at the moment, she would either start crying and shut down and won't speak and won't explain herself, or she will go in her room and lock the door. So now, with me being a 32-year-old mom of two, I talk out my kids' feelings. You could be mad, you could be upset, but please let me know what you're thinking right now. Let me know why you're screaming right now. Go in your room, calm down, and come back and tell me what happened. Come back and give me a why. I need an explanation. Like if I ask you a question, I need you to tell me an answer to what I just asked. I don't want you to look at me. I don't want you to look at me. Ari, just wait. I discipline my kids with love. I know what it's like to grow up not having... Hush. You're okay. I have rough girls, okay? I know what it's like to grow up in a house with a parent that does not discipline, and I know what it is to grow up in a house with a parent that does discipline. My father disciplined, honey. He had rules, he had boundaries, he had, you gonna have some manners in my house type thing. And then my mom was more laid back, go with the flow. If you didn't say your grace, meaning, your prayer over your food, fine, shrugs, who cares? If you didn't say ma'am or sir, fine, shrug, who cares? If you didn't say please or thank you when you asked for things, fine, shrug, who cares? I don't want that. Now, I may not do ma'am and sir in my house, and a lot of my friends, because they're Southern or they're traditional, may do, ma'am and sir, but I don't do that. See, I had to go discipline. All right. So yeah, I'm big on discipline. You can go to your room. You can get snatched up. The belt does exist in my house. Not all the time, but at a certain point in time, after I told you to do something more than once, I'm not saying it anymore. And being that my mother was one of 13 children, and my grandmother was about the belt. My grandfather was about the belt. But my grandfather had more patience before he got the belt. My grandmother was like a one and done. And my mom grew up resistant against that type of discipline. And then flourished into not disciplining at all. So it was really hectic growing up for me. So I had to be my own disciplinarian as a teenager, as a young 20-year-old. Even now, I have to put myself in check because no one around me could do it because my mom didn't do it. And I didn't spend a lot of time with my dad after I was like 13. It just wasn't something we did. So now I really instill that with my kids because I don't want them growing up feeling like they can do whatever when they want and no one's going to correct them. And I prep everything. I prep clothes that's out for the next day. I prep food. I prep for bills. I have alarms for everything. I have 3 alarms for the morning. I have alarms when I need to leave my job in order to pick up the girls. I have alarms for if Anya has projects. I have calendars all over the house. I have folders for Anya. I have certain places where the book goes, certain places where the marker and the paints go. Like, I have to have that because it helps my day go a bit easier. I have a bag in the car for both of them just in case they have an accident. Like, I'm a prep mom, even though I'm a fun mom. Like, I'm many different moms put together. I believe in a healthy 2-parent home, if that can be. If that cannot be, then I try to piece together what's really good for my daughters with their dads, and what doesn't work, I'm not saying will never work. It just doesn't work for right now. Because living in a home with two parents who cannot come together in the healthiest way as an example to a child is not the best. I didn't learn what my parents' marriage was until I was, I want to say 28, 29 years old. And when I learned about it, it helped me understand why my father acted and talked and treated my mother the way he did, and why my mother, assumed he was going to do X, Y, and Z instead of asked and demanded and, set up her boundaries a bit earlier so she could avoid a lot of negativity. So, I do not live with either one of their dads. We are not together with either one of their dads. But, Ari does visit her dad, when she can. Hopefully later next year, it could be more consistent. But for right now, it's just going to be how it is. Anya's dad has started talking to her more. This past November, he came for her first birthday ever. Because the past years, he just wasn't ready, or he just couldn't get himself together to a point to see that his child was a priority and not his ego. So now that's a bit more consistent and a bit open to learning on how he can be better with Anya, how he can be a better father, how he could be a better provider, how he could be better for himself in the long run for his other children. I teach my kids a lot. I teach my kids about what I did when I was younger. I teach my kids what doesn't work. I teach my kids the why, the what, the where, the when, the how. I teach my kids about things they won't learn in public school for about 2 more years. I teach them now. I read to them a lot. We go over numbers. We do puzzles together. I do number cards together. We do a lot of math. We do a lot of pop quizzes in the car. Right now in the car, we're learning a lot more Spanish on the CD I got from Barnes & Noble. I expose them to different things, different people. I teach them about different cultures. I just want my children to be well-rounded. I apologize to my kids. Whenever I feel like I was in the wrong or I could have done something a bit better, I apologize to them because I need them to know that it is okay to apologize to people when you feel like you were in the wrong. It is okay to be honest with yourself and apologize. Apologizing doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you're making steps to be a better person. Okay? I am very blunt honest with my children because the world is very blunt honest with people. And I'm big on learning and being exposed to good people, good environments, and I want my children to be able to tell me about their day. I want my children to be able to tell me about what's going on with the classes that they have or the other kids that they're around and what they said and what they did. Because if you let your child feel like, oh, I can't tell my mom this because she's going to get real mad at me or it's going to make her upset, they're not going to share with you. Okay? So I'm very slow to show emotion when she's telling me what a kid said or what a teacher did or how someone acted, because I don't want her to feel ashamed or feel like about anything that she tells me. I just want her to tell me. I want to think through it, and then I want to explain to her the right and the wrong in it, and I want to explain to her what her next step should be. I don't want to scare my kids into not speaking to me. And yeah, that's the kind of mom I am. You got to figure out what kind of mom you are, what kind of mom you want to be, and try to be that in a better way every day. Like, you have to wake up with a mission to be better than you were yesterday as a mom. Because I don't know about you, but when I was 5, there are things that I still remember till today, and I am 32. When I was 6, there are things I still remember about my mother, about my household, about school, about my environment, about people I were around when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these kids' memory only gets better. So don't ever think that things that you're doing now, they won't remember when they're older. They'll remember, and they'll bring it up, and they'll ask you later. So just be prepared for the questions they will ask, and have a good answer to go with it, an honest answer to go with it. So yeah, that's what kind of mom I am. I hope you figure out what kind of mom you are. In our next segment coming up, Mommy Shan's Tips segment, I will be talking about some questions you should probably ask yourself before you have a kid. Yeah, because that's always... Stop! There's more!
Stop! There's
More.
more.
It is okay. You have a question. Cool. Mommy Shan can help you out with that. Welcome to Mommy Shan segment. I got you. What's the question for today? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mommy Shan's Tips segment. We're talking about questions to ask before you have your kiddo. First question you probably want to ask yourself, this is whether you're in a relationship or you're not. You want to ask yourself, can you actually afford to have a baby without touching your savings? If you cannot afford to have a child today or in the next 5 to 6 months without touching your savings, don't have that child. Because all kids do is take and take and take and take and take and take and take from you up until they're 18 years old. So if you're not ready for the taking, don't be taking, you know what. The next question you probably want to ask yourself is, will you be big on religious views with your kid? If that's something you're not sure about, the worst thing you could ever do is raise a child in an unsure situation or an unsure frame of mind. So be mindful of that. I'm not really big on religion with my children. We don't pray before bed. When I pray silently. I pray right before I'm going to sleep. They're mostly never awake. Before I eat, I usually pray for children and other parents and homeless who may not have something to eat, silently, so they never hear me. We don't talk about God in open conversations. We don't talk about Jesus. I don't take them to church because I haven't found a religion I fully feel engulfed in, that I want to be involved in. So I don't want to push an unsure religious view on my children that I'm not even sure about for myself. So what I did want to do is start, saying grace over my food and their food, and saying that with them, because I do remember saying grace with, my dad and my mom at the table. Let me see if I remember. I think we went, thank you, God, for something to eat. Thank you for something along those lines. And we thanked, our mom. We thanked God for allowing us to have food to eat, and we prayed for people who didn't have, and it was followed by an amen of some sorts, I think. So I'm going to figure out some type of grace or just thankfulness to just show them, like, you having something to eat, or you having a home, or you having, clothes on your back is not something everyone has a luxury of having. So just make sure you're thankful for it. Now you can eat. So I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate that. So even I have 2 kids, and I'm not really, sure about, my religious views on things, because it's always changing, because I'm always reading and I'm always rediscovering and I'm always finding new meaning in certain things when it comes to religion. And being that, my dad went to a Catholic church and my mom went to a Pentecostal church up until I was 8. And then my mom, turned into a Jehovah's Witness, and that's something I completely do not understand. I am not Jehovah's Witness. I am not quote unquote Christian. I am not atheist. I'm very into just being a good person and treating people with respect, and believing that what you give to others in the world, you get back, period. So that's something you want to be sure about. Think about what you want for your future, or what you want your future to look like. And then think about your future with kids added to it. Your kids that you can't give back to anyone. You have to keep them with you. So think about, how that would work. How would your career that you really want work with you having children? How would you be a good mom, quote unquote, while being in your career, or not being married, or being married, or always traveling? Think about that before you go full in on having children, because traveling with children, that's a whole different ball game, okay? You're probably not going to be able to do it as often as you think, unless you're going to have like a nanny or someone that lives with you, or a family member that's always willing to get up and travel whenever you say go. The next thing you probably want to think about is, what are you willing to put on hold or miss out on if you have a kid? I missed out on so many things. I missed out on parties. I miss out on trips. I miss out on game nights. I miss out on traveling. I miss out on saving more money. I miss out on buying, better items. I miss out on having more, having better. I miss out on opportunities where I could probably stay at work longer, but I really can't because I don't have anyone to watch the girls. There's a lot of things I miss out on because I'm a mom, because I'm a single mom, because I don't always have someone dependable to help me with the girls. So that's something to think about. If you have a kid, what are you willing to miss out on? Also, what and how will you pay for childcare? Because that thing is pricey, okay? Childcare last year was running me about $750 a month between the both of them, and Ari only went to childcare partial times during the week. Now they both go to childcare Monday through Friday, or aka camp, and on the weekends I usually keep them all the time. It's hard for me to work weekend jobs by having them, because if I take a job that incorporates me working on the weekend, that means I'm going to have to hire a sitter to watch them as I work those 8+ hours, which means while everybody's at work making money, I'm at work losing money and making a little bit. So the weighing of that is a strain. So really think about it. Also think about, what will you do if daddy doesn't live with you or us, meaning you and your children, or you and your child? What are you going to do? What are you prepared to take on? Are you equipped to do that? Can you do that? If, you and the father are no longer together, how will that work? Do you know anything about co-parenting? Do you even know what would you do to co-parent? Or how will you successfully co-parenting? Because co-parenting is not something that comes easy to everyone. You might have one parent that wants to co-parent. You might have the other parent that wants to have a family on the side. And you are that family on the side of all their other things that they want to do in their life. Or you might have two parents who, one wants to co-parent and the other one wants to parent the child as long as they can have a fake relationship romantically with you. So you really have to think about what you want to do with that. And that is always a possibility. Now, don't ever think just because you get married to the child's father that you're in the clear. Things happen, okay? And then you have to think about how hard it will be to possibly have to go through a divorce with your child's father. Because no matter what, whether you like your child's father or not, if they're not deceased, you're going to have to deal with them in some type of capacity, whether that's through court, whether that's through documentation, paperwork, whether that's through a restraining order, whether that's true through like legal terms or through them just being annoying in your life. You're going to have to deal with them. Vice versa. Fathers, you're going to have to deal with that child's mother as long as they're alive, living on this planet, okay? That's just set in stone. That's just what it is. Also, another question you want to ask yourself is, how do we, quote unquote, if both of you are there while or before you have your baby, want to parent? Talk to the person you possibly want to have a kid with. How do you see yourself as a parent? What do you want to incorporate? What do you not want to do? Do you agree with that? Vice versa. I think a lot of times if people would have that conversation with the person they think they want to have a kid with, you probably wouldn't want to have that kid. Just being honest. The last question, and I'm not saying these are the only questions. These are just some of the tips of the iceberg of what you need to ask yourself before you think you want to have a kid is, who will support you having a kid? And I say that because you can have yourself and you can have the father of the child, but if this is your first kid and you know nothing about children, do you have aunts or uncles or a mother or a father or grandparents that can guide you, or friends, or other moms, other parents, other dads that can guide you into being the best parent you can be? Because I can understand when my mom had us when she was younger, there was a support system. There was more of like a family base there to help out. Maybe auntie can watch the baby. Maybe your sister can watch, your son or your daughter. Maybe your grandparents can watch it. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of friends that still have their grandparents around and living and healthy. I don't have a lot of friends who have their mother and father living in the same state, or let alone are they alive still. So that family support may not even be there. So sometimes you have to scratch that out. Friends. Are your friends that do not have kids willing to support you, help you out with your children? I have a lot of friends who love my kids. Thank God, okay? My God. Thank you. I always say I don't know what I did in life to deserve the supportive people that I have in my life, but I am grateful, always thankful. But for my friends who do not have children that really go out their way to help me with my children, I appreciate them, because sometimes I do need a break. I have friends that will call me up and be like, do you want me to come take the girls for a few hours on Saturday or Sunday, blah, 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 because they know I always have them. When I wake up in the morning, they're with me until I drop them off at school. When I get off of work, I got to go run and pick them up. And then they're with me until the next day. And on the weekend, if I have nothing to do, they're with me all weekend. So it's like I really don't get a break. So to have friends that understand that and know that they're not obligated to help you and they go out their way to help you, love them. You need to get in touch with other moms. You need to get in touch with other dads. You need to get in touch with people, even if they have adopted children, and talk to them. You can go online and Google your questions. Go on mom blogs, listen to parenting podcasts, read books, go to the bookstore, read magazines. There's no reason why you do not know how to get help for the questions you have as a parent. Or if you think you want to parent, talk to a parent. My best friend Henny asked me a couple of weeks ago, how would you rate being a mom from a rating of like 1 to 10, 10 being love it and 1 being hate it? And I told her a 7. And a 7 is an honest answer because 1, most importantly, I can only count on myself as a parent for both of the girls. 2, I'm a single mom and I'm not rich and I don't have all the time in the world. And sometimes things don't pan out like I want it. And 3, it's stressful. It's stressful to be that parent that does it right or that parent that wants to be better. And you have no breaks and you get tired and you get exhausted. And what number am I on? 4? I told her I love it. Like days when it's slow and we could just go to the park and we could have like a snack or whatever, it's fun. And other days when I'm stressed and they have needs and it's hard. So that's why I told her a 7. And I'm very honest with my friends. So those are some questions you need to ask yourself. Thank you for listening to Questions Before You Have a Kid in this Mommy Shan segment. And you guys just really enjoy the rest of your December because January is around the corner. My name is Shan and thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. Bye. Bye.
Bye.